Um, so the map, I can click on any person and I can see who they gave to and who they received from, right? So each person that I click on, the orange is who they gave to, and the green is who they received from. And so, like I was saying before, this helps me start to get a sense of who's working with who, of what they're working on. And if I want to understand more, I can go find them in the Discord. We're doing a lot of work right now on this profile feature to have a decentralized ID, so that you'll be able to actually, instead of clicking on someone and seeing a coordinate profile that they have to go set up, they'll have a sort of universal ID, um, that you can use in all sorts of different applications. It's being built by Ceramics, and we're incorporating that. But this is still really valuable to be able to see what people are working on and look at it, for example, and say like, oh wow, this person Farah May is getting uh, a lot of give from a lot of people in the core team. Like I wonder what they're working on. So I could go find them and see what are they working on. Do they need help? Um, what are we valuing? Right. So this map also, like I was saying before, helps prevent against some of the collusion, potentially, that you'd see, because it'll be really obvious really quickly, right? A sort of subcircle of people just giving to each other in a circle. Um,
So
and there's one
one
other.
of the
Yeah.
things that really interests me about Coordinate is that it's kind of like you have a free analytics tool for
Mhm.
the flow of resources through the DAO. So can you tell us if the people using Coordinate have seen increases in productivity or been able to solve problems by analyzing the flow of give through the DAO?
I mean, there's definitely, one thing we can certainly point to is that when there's new contributors and they come and start adding value, it's much more likely that they will stick around because they're being immediately, appreciated and compensated. um, you don't have to sort of wait for X amount of months to make some sort of hiring decision, right? Someone can show up in the Discord, um, and you all have the experience that most people show up in the Discord and say, "Hey, what's going on? How can I help?" And some people show up and say, "Hey, I built this, or I made this thing. What do you think?" And it's like, "Wow, this is awesome." They can get paid for it that same epic, right? Someone says this is amazing, and they vouch for them. They nominate them to join the circle. Someone else vouches for them, and then they're in. They can get paid right away, and more importantly, like thanked and acknowledged right away. Um, and so it's a really great way to find those good contributors. And then, as we've seen many time in the Yearn community, for example, like Major, started as a coordinate contributor, and they showed up and started doing some code, and they kept doing that, and now they are a member of, of the of Yearn, um, part of the core group of doers. And so it makes a really powerful kind of onboarding funnel. Instead of having to hire for roles, you can essentially find those people who are already proved they know how to add value in a DAO context, and they're kind of off and running. So
Great.
that's a specific problem. Um, I would put up. Um, I I want to point this out so everyone's clear on. Coordinape is free to use, and we get paid the same way that every other contributor in the DAO gets paid, which is if someone thinks you're adding value, um, they can give to you. So this is our monetization model: is that Coordinape is a member of every circle, and if people think that it's valuable, they can allocate to it, and then we just get, a percentage of the give like everybody else, and that's how we're planning to sustain Coordinape over time.
Okay, so we have a few questions. Miss is
Great.
asking, uh, can epochs be customized, timeframes and such?
For sure. Yes. Um, for almost everything, as much as possible is customizable, but definitely epics can be customized for the length of time. Same thing with, the amount of give people have can be customized. There's a lot of different features, and we're sort of adding more all the time, to make it as customizable for every DAO as possible.
Okay. So Mr. Nerd here is asking, are all people who can give also people getting paid out? And from what I've read, the answer is no. It's possible to be able to give but not receive, right?
Exactly. If we go back to this screen with the opt in and opt out, so there are some people, for example, in this Yearn community, right? There are several people that are part of the core team, like Bantag. So Bantag is opted out and essentially said, like, I'm not eligible for give. I don't want to be compensated in this circle. I still want to be able to allocate to folks to say thanks for the work that they've done. And so you can still give even if you're not, if you've marked yourself ineligible to receive.
Right. And that would be really useful for people who already have a salary, right?
Exactly right.
And don't want to be
Exactly
paid
right.
twice.
Exactly. So a lot of the folks you see on here, when you click on them, if there's no green coming in, it's because they've opted out, and said, I don't want to be eligible, but I want to reward and thank others.
So, how do DAOs organize into these coordinate circles? So,
Uh,
like, what's the process of getting a person new in, and you know, how does this change the structure of a DAO when they work this way?
Right. So there's two ways essentially. Either when the admin sets up the DAO, they can add your name and wallet address, um, or you can nominate a new member. And that's essentially, saying, why are you nominating this person? What should they be in for? And then the admin also, when they set up the circle, you can set the number of people that need to vouch for someone to get in. Um, so, for example, you may say, in this circle, there's three people have to say, yes, I can attest to the work that they're doing. They're a valuable contributor. Some other circles might say, we want to be really selective about who gets into this coordinate circle. So 50% of the people have to vouch before someone gets in. Um, and then other folks might say, no, this is a very, porous circle. The more the merrier. Only one person needs to vouch for you to get you in. We're also working on a feature right now where a third option where people can self-nominate. Right now, you can't sort of put up your hand and say, I should be in the circle for these reasons. Someone else has to see and the work that you've done and say, hey, you should, I'm gonna nominate you. But those are the two ways to enter, into a circle: is someone either adds your wallet when they're setting up, or you get vouched in.
Okay, so to clear up something that was asked in the chat, give is not the token you're paid in. It's more like a wrapped token that represents the amount of the
Right.
budget you get. So if we pay our budget out
Exactly.
in Fox, the
Exactly. So
give
if
represents
you
Fox.
have exactly right. Uh-huh. The give are really the give are not on chain. It's kind of helpful to think of them as poker chips. They're just symbols that you pass around to be representative of Fox. Um, and so there's a few reasons we designed it that way. One is that we really want people to have the experience of giving, when they're allocating. You want people to really feel, not like, people can really get a sense of, like, I have 100 give, and I want to allocate value and thanks regardless of how many native tokens that might translate to. At the conclusion of this epic, you'll get a CSV, right? And it's essentially a spreadsheet that says your name and the percentage of give that you got and your wallet address. And so that percentage of give becomes the percentage of Fox, whatever was allocated. Um, and then you can upload that into a, disperse app, or um, you can use airdrop. Gnosis has an air CSV. One of the things that we're really working hard on right now is an 8 vault, so that, hopefully by the end of the year, you'll be able to do all this in Coordinate. that it will do it automatically. So you would just deposit Fox, um, and then it would be dispersed out at the end. Not automatically. There'll probably be like a little multi-sig signing just to make sure everything's copacetic before it gets sent out. But that's how it'll work. But right now, it's the output of this really is a spreadsheet.
What if different people uh, prefer to be paid in different coins? Is there a way for Coordinate to sort of resolve that, or or is a disbursement, or is the person responsible for disbursement have to do that conversion on the fly?
Uh, Probably on the fly. I'd have to think about that one a little bit. I'm not sure how many folks are are doing multiple different tokens for the same circle. I'm sure there's a way to kind of have people, if there's a set amount of budget, for example, it's like, hey, there's 10,000 Fox and 10,000 USDC, and indicate which one you want. Um, I have to think about how that might work. But it so far it's generally been one token per circle. It's kind of how you use it. Um,
Yeah, I
and so
suppose
yeah,
that makes sense.
right, you get the output is a CSV, not direct transfers. That's correct. And so then you with the CSV you can use something like Disperse or something to send everyone the funds.
So, what about gas fees? And is Coordinate on layer 2, if that
Uh,
applies?
well, right now Coordinape is actually off chain, right? So it uses wallets for signatures, but it's not actually happening on chain. It's all database driven, and so there aren't any gas fees for any of the give or anything. There are gas fees, of course, for sending that lump sum payment at the end to all the different addresses through Disperse. Um, when that's live on our 8 vaults on Coordinape, you'll be able to either send out payments to everyone, and basically you pay the gas, or you can set it so that people can come pick up their payment, and it can stay there for X amount of months until they want to sort of come claim it. So you can do it either way.
Okay, but for example, we like to pay out people using Fox on XDAI. So
Hmm.
can we set up Coordinate where the the budget is on XDAI and then it gets paid to people's wallets on XDAI?
Absolutely. Uh-huh.
Okay, yeah.
Absolutely.
So if we could do that now, then gas fees aren't really a problem.
Right, exactly. And we're building it on mainnet, but of course the plan is to, as quickly as possible, start deploying to other chains as well as soon as we're done.
Right. So
Um,
Coordinate is practicing progressive decentralization, right?
exactly right. Exactly right. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And I see in here the Jonas John is putting together this like this question, but yeah, there's you could have a circle. You definitely have a circle for different things in the DAO, right? So it doesn't need to be a whole community circle for everything. Um, this is the way a lot of DAOs are doing this. Index and Olympus, in particular, have many circles for within the DAO for smaller groups. So you sort of get a budget to do something. Say we're the marketing team, and then we allocate to each other based on whatever rubrics we've sort of come up with. Um, and the way we do it at Coordinate, for example, is that we everyone kind of has a UBI or a floor that everyone receives, and then there's kind of a bonus pool on top of it, that we pay out using Coordinate. So we've tried to make it as flexible and customizable as possible, and we'll continue to do so.
Do you find
And
that
I,
it's common to add the pay floor so that way it takes out a lot of the risk, right? Of putting in work for a month and then getting nothing.
Right. Well, it really depends on the circle. For
Hmm.
Coordinate, most of the people in that core circle are close to full-time contributors, and so we know that they're doing all of this work on it, and so a floor makes sense. On a
Right.
community circle, it makes a lot less sense, right? There, you just want
Okay.
it to be, um, like whoever shows up and adds value, gets allocated to. There's no floor on those, so it really kind of depends.
All right. You don't want someone new coming in not doing very
Right.
much and then getting paid the floor. I, so
Exactly.
it sounds like you get the bigger safety net, the stronger your reputation becomes, and that's something you get over time.
Right. And I just saw. I want to note they asked. Can I link coordinate directly in Discord? Um, there is already a Telegram bot where you can just give directly in Telegram. We're working on one for Discord as well, so that you can do kind of real time. As you think of it, just kick somebody some give directly in Discord. That is on the way. Although I don't have a specific timeline for it quite yet.
Giant getting excited about a new bot.
Yeah. Everyone loves the bots. We love the bots. But we're definitely working on one for that. Uh-huh. And I noticed someone in here asked about does this work for salary? And it does right now. But our V2 that we're already sort of thinking about and designing will work a lot better. Um, uh, and and so we're excited for thinking about ways to not just do one-off give payments, but actually connect people to streams of income that kind of fit more the flow of a more standard base pay, um, you know more standard kind of native token flow, etc. And I should also say that we're good friends with Colony, with Jack and the team, big fans of what they're doing. We're already talking to them actively about potential integrations for Coordinate and Colony, and we also have on our roadmap and what we're bringing, um, a bounty, um, a sort of bounty system, so that right now you're giving, kind of retrospectively to the value that people have added, and soon we'll also be able to sort of give to things that the community wants to see done. People can create bounties, and then people can allocate to them so that people can then go do them, once there's kind of enough people saying putting their hands up for it. That makes sense.
Right. So you're creating a bigger and bigger platform that can incorporate more things. It's not that we can do bounties elsewhere, but if we could do it on your platform too, that's one less uh,
Exactly.
system
One
people
less
need to integrate.
Exactly, one less place to go, and also creates like there'll obviously be a lot of fine tuning to get it humming, but we love the idea of sort of anyone being able to nominate something, and then the community can sort of say, yeah, someone should do that with actual give, until there's enough give there that someone says someone should do that. Like, I'm going to do it if it's worth that much. And so it's kind of that same shared display, and trying to tap into collective intelligence.
Right. That's another great point. So it shows up in your graph if the bounty system is on coordinate, and that way we get additional information about how many bounties are being made and who are they going to.
Exactly right. Uh-huh. Exactly right. And this, Jonas makes another good point. Um, that we really want this to be more of a feature that of rewarding value, not just rewarding time, right? So how do we, if someone comes in and does something, yeah, I'm just agreeing with all the folks in the chat. Hopefully it incentivizes quality of contribution, not quantity, in an ideal world.
Right, and that's why for a long time I haven't really liked salary because it incentivizes you to sit in the chair for 8 hours.
Exactly.
If I increase productivity by 20%, I don't see a dime unless I might get a raise in 6 months, and there's a big disconnect
Right.
between
And
when
we
you,
love the
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And we love the real time sort of feedback. Um and the other thing is it's great if it's like, whatever, I'm going to take a month off. Um it's fine. Like, it won't hurt the DAO at all. I can take that time off, and other people can come in and add value while I'm gone, and I don't have to have any of the guilt of like, oh man, I'm taking these resources, and I'm not doing anything. There's a real freedom to it. There's also obviously the flip side of that, which is like, oh crap, there's no PTO. But that's sort of a different issue for DAOs to solve, and I really focus on the I like to focus on the bonus, the kind of freedom that it allows. And a lot of us, of course, are, not just active in only one DAO. So, hopefully this incentivizes people to cross pollinate and to be able to contribute in multiple DAOs, and get paid accordingly.
All right. So, are there any plans to work with Colony so that money I receive from Coordinape shows up as reputation? Because
There are
that's the most
yes,
important
there
part of an integration with them that I can see.
right, and that's an important part of that's a really important part of where we see this going. Really, coordinate give is going to be a massively valuable reputation indicator. If you can see that I've gotten 5,000 give from 10 different DAOs, and you can look and see like that I've gotten give from from Vitalik or something. Um, it's going to be a really powerful reputation, and so we're definitely doing that. That's what we're working with, ceramic and decentralized ID, so that eventually, again, everything will be decentralized, everything will be on chain, including all the give. um, and as we figure out how to publicly display the data, you saw that the map, just of the Yearn community here. You can start to imagine what would this map look like if you add, 10 DAOs together. What would this map of like the entire DeFi space? What would this map of if you just want to pick, a few DAOs, or just want to pick one person? It sort of creates this like decentralized LinkedIn, um, so that you can really start to understand where people are contributing.
Interesting. That's a big vision.
Yeah, it is. Well, that's yeah, it is, and it'll take some time, but it's really exciting to think about it. What it will be like when you have that real clear signal of the people that know how to bring value to the space are rewarded for it, and um and are incentivized to keep doing it. I think that's funny that decentralized LinkedIn gets a shutter. Um, it it is. I know it's horrible to invoke LinkedIn in any capacity. But having something where you can sort of understand what people are into and where they're contributing to, and especially like vouches from their peers, I think is really an interesting, um, potential primitive for the whole space.
Well, I mean that level of analytics I think helps the entire space. Because
Right.
the challenge is, there's all this information out there, but how do you aggregate it into the parts that are give you useful insights? And I see plenty of potential here, especially as your infrastructure grows to really take that to the next level.
Exactly. We're definitely in the faster learning beats better planning mode right now, and really try to and really try to just get the platform out there. We really, true to the urine roots of testing in prod. Like we really focused on just getting something out there for people to use so that we can start iterating, start improving it and seeing kind of what's actually valuable to folks and to the community at large.
Yes. So I would like to remind everyone that there's nothing stopping any work stream leader or anyone who has funds from using Coordinate right now. But the key part of my proposal is that I'm asking for 100,000 Fox to be put in a fund that each work stream gets access to. So, like, if one work stream has 10% of the total budget of all work streams, and they get 10% of this 100K fund, which would be 10,000 Fox. So I find that with something like Coordinape, it's best to just get people started, and so that's what this fund is for. Giving all the workstream leaders enough funds that they can play with this and see how it works with their contributors.
Yeah, and I would echo that. We found that the best thing is for people to just start playing with it, to do a few epics and kind of learn. Um, and then you'll learn sort of what makes sense for you um, as you go.
All right. So if anyone has any questions, I'd appreciate if you just come up on stage and let us know.
Hey everyone. Thanks for organizing this and Zaku for coming and showing us about this. This has really helped me in my understanding of Coordinape. I had a very loose idea, but this is super helpful. What are the next steps of, obviously Seth has a proposal up that will likely go to voting sometime after this AMA today, but what are the actual like logistical steps for the DAO to start plugging into Coordinape and starting to play with it and using it?
Um, the next steps are to go to coordinape.com and to click launch a circle. Um, and then you're off and running. Um, we made it permissionless, so anyone can spin up a circle. Um, Obviously, there might be a little bit of internal discussion of how many we want to start, who's going to be in them, etc. Like how you want to do it. But you can get started right away. It's that simple. And part of that is because you can just set the epic. You can do a test epic that lasts 1 day, just so everyone gets a sense of it, and then say, okay, here's the real one. It's really just a tool that's out there for y'all to start playing with and learning how to use.
Very cool. So yeah, that sounds pretty simple. I think the main thing that Seth's proposal is going to do is fund us with an initial budget of Fox that we'll allocate to this, which would, I think, to Seth's point, get us started in playing with it, which I think would be great. Um, what kind of issues have you seen since, especially with like Yearn and some of the bigger contributors, since they've been using it, or like, what are things that we should watch out for as a community that we might not be expecting?
Yeah, I think the biggest issues that I've seen, aside from, I mean, the biggest bucket by far is people saying like all the things it should do that are on our roadmap and that we're like, doing our best to sort of prioritize and order it and get to, um, things like, oh, someone should be able to nominate themselves. Oh, we want to do like right now when you try and and collect everybody's name and wallet address and then bulk upload it, only one of our admins can do that. So there's a whole lot of things that are like we need to we need to work on and just build the actual tool. And as you all know, also there's not an overabundance of developers in this space. So finding people that have the time, bandwidth, and skill to come join the team and build with us is a challenge, of course. Um, I would say initial early on is just making sure people are communicating. I would say start a Discord channel or some place where everyone who's participating in the circle can has some place to talk about it. Um, so that I can say, hey everyone, like it closes in an hour. Don't forget about me. Initially at Yearn, there were some challenges, for example, with some of the folks that were doing translation into Turkish, and not that many people knew that they were doing it. And so they didn't really have the visibility. I would say less than the popularity contest, we do see this issue. We call it like the silent genius, right? Someone who's doing some really hardcore deep dive work on something and isn't connecting with a lot of people. If it's really back end stuff. And so there's different ways that folks have found to kind of address that. Either having an advocate like whoever's the product manager or something, really say, giving a shout, be like, hey everyone, don't forget to allocate to this person. um at Yearn it was a lot more like, oh man, crap, we forgot this person, like everyone get them back next month. And that's why, like, there's a certain rhythm and cadence to it. And if we don't kind of overreact to initial results and just learn recognize that like everything else in Web3, it's a bit of a learning curve, and we're figuring it out. Um, that that helps a lot, and having a place to kind of debrief things. Um, yeah, that's what I would say kind of initially. And then, myself or other folks from the coordinate team, I'm always happy to do calls like this, even with smaller teams so that everyone can kind of get on the same page and do it at once. I think collective onboarding as opposed to just sending the link and kind of leaving people defend from themselves is tough, but even doing a practice allocation altogether can also be really valuable.
Yeah, I think the best thing for us to do, if the proposal passes, we can organize a oh man, lost my train of thought. A demo.
Right.
So particularly for workstream leaders, because they're the ones who will be the centers of managing this. But if the community can also visually see how the coordinate circle is made and how people are onboarded and how they give the give, I think that would go a long way, and we can just keep it. And then anytime someone asks about it, we can point them to it.
Exactly right. Hmm. Um, I think I'm gonna have to bounce here for another my last call of the day. But encourage anyone, if you have other questions, just drop by our Discord. Let me know. You can tag me. You can tag other folks. And welcome your questions, comments, everything, etc. Um, and we're kind of here to be a public good for DAOs, and really, are looking for all of you to use it to help us make it better. So really
That's
appreciate your time, and thanks for listening, and yeah, thanks a lot, Seth, for organizing.
Yeah, thank you so much, Zaku, for the time, and Seth for pushing this forward. This was super cool.
Yeah, thank you so much, Zaku. You just made the chances of my proposal passing increase by, I don't know, 3 to 5 times.
Awesome. All right. Then time well spent, and awesome to get connected more to all y'all foxes. So thanks again, everybody. Much appreciated, and we'll see you around the metaverse. Cheers.
All right, see you guys later.